Hey everyone, so today I wanted to talk about my addiction palettes. So I know I announced a few days ago that my palettes are retiring. That's all seven of the addiction palettes. And I know that sounds a little bit scary and crazy, but that's basically all of our eyeshadow palettes that we have besides our beloved palette or custom palettes in Liquid Shadows. Um, but it's not as scary as it sounds. Actually, traditionally, with most companies, for example, I'm a fan of Kylie Cosmetics. Um, Products on that website are limited edition. So once something comes out, it stays for a little bit and it's gone. This is what's going to be happening with our products, eyeshadows in particular. So our plan is to continue selling all seven of the palettes. There is a shipment coming, a final shipment for palette number 6. And then the rest of the addiction palettes, 1 through 7, are whatever's left in stock is what's there. But the good news is that palette 8 is in the works. And we will be getting special palettes released throughout the year. I'm not sure how many, but it's sounding like more than one. And it will be, like the special palette that's really cool and going for the trends. Because what's happening is, take palette for number 7, for example. It's a rainbow palette, okay? We first saw this with our Black Friday deals and steals. That's where we first saw our first glimpse of it. And then I believe it came out in January of this year. But the rainbow trend was really a summer, spring 2019 trend. And it's 2020. Not very many people are into the trend anymore. So it's really different. We want to kind of broadcast our products to people who are into certain trends. And purchasing number 7 right now might not be a thing for everyone because it is a very bold palette. So this is the reasoning, because we want to get a new palette out that is going with the current trend, so that something you see on the internet that everyone's doing, you can get a palette like that feels like it's 2020. So I wouldn't be too scared about them going out of stock really fast. I know that some people are panicking, so there might be some going out a little bit quick, but as of right now, all of them are still in stock. But I want to tell you the ways you can get them. So first way is you can get palettes 1 through 7 individually for $49. Second way is that you can get it in my Kudos bundle. Also, palettes 1 through 7, and the Kudos does come with any mascara and any eyeliner for $79. Now, I do want to stress that once the palettes are gone, you won't be able to get them again. But we do have a fun way to kind of get some colors either similar or exact. 9 times out of 10, our custom palettes have the similar or exact shade. So you could get a palette like this. This is a 4-pan custom palette for $52. I know it's a little bit more expensive than getting this individually for $49, but you actually are getting a bit more product with these. But for example, this is somewhat similar to palette number 6 with some of the shades. So if there are certain ones you like, usually people aren't going to go for all 7. They might have 4 favorites. As you can see, this one has been a favorite of mine. But you also don't really run out of palettes very often. So I would suggest, firstly, if you love a certain palette, to get that palette itself. Because 9 times out of 10, we have the, match of a shade. But I will tell you, for palette number 7, I believe the only shades that are similar, not even an exact match, is the silver shimmer over here and purple. Purple's pretty close, and we do have a lot of different white tones. All these vibrant ones in the middle, we do not have a match for. So if that's something you're interested in, I would suggest getting these first, before they are out of stock for good. And then after that, if you had one in mind that you liked, then you could go ahead and try to get some color matches. The best thing with this, though, as well, is say you have palette 1 through 7, either one of those, and you have a certain shade that you love, and it runs out. Most of us don't run out for quite a long time. I know people who have had palettes for years, and they are still not hitting the end yet. But say you do run out of a certain shade. When it's one of the palettes like this, you have to repurchase the whole palette again, which kind of sucks, for $49. Where you could get a $52 custom palette with some of the shades of your favorites and pop out the color that's missing and replace it for $14. So that's something that I love. I would suggest looking into that once we run out of the palettes. Also, if you like more than 4 shades, I would suggest going for the custom 8-pan palette, which is $99. Same thing with this. You can also pop them out for one color instead of the whole thing, and you can add an extra shade in there because you could try to find all 7 that's a close match, or put some other favorites in there. So those are all your options for the custom palettes. So we either have the $49 single addiction palette. We have the $79 Kudos bundle, which comes with your choice of palette, mascara, and eyeliner. Then we have the $52 4-pan custom palette. And then finally, the $99 8-pan custom palette. So I would say, like I said before, try to get these first. We also have a trio option where you can get 3 of your favorite addiction palettes for $130, which does save you money, you know, instead of purchasing these 3 individually, because they're almost $50 with tax, or technically are. But I wouldn't panic. I would try to get them if you can. Kudos is probably the better way to go about it because you get extra products. But if you don't want the extra products, then I would just go individual. If you have any questions about the palettes, you can go ahead and comment below or message me. And if you want to check any of these out, I will link all the different types of palettes below. So you can go ahead and look at those or visit my website, www.simplyperfectglam.com.